Hey everybody, it's Pete. Good morning. Welcome to a new episode of today's Best Stock Picks. It is Wednesday morning, June 2nd, 2021. Thank you so much for joining me today. And today we're going to talk about what a wacky market we have right now, where the market's kind of doing the opposite of what it normally does, where the stock market indices are not really performing that well, but there's plenty of individual ideas in stocks. So right now, it's very important that you are a stock picker and understanding where to find those pockets of opportunity. So hopefully you're a regular subscriber to the channel. If not, click that subscribe button and click the alert so you get new updates when we put new videos out. Here's the reason why. We're going to talk about this first, is understanding sector rotation. I'm going to keep saying this all the time because it's such a huge part of being in the right stocks and finding the order flow, understanding which stocks to buy at the right moment. It's the market, kind of build pyramid right here. And the bottom of the pyramid is the overall general market. And generally speaking, we're talking about the NASDAQ, the Qs, and the Dow. Then you go up to sectors, industry groups, and individual stocks. Now, because the market itself is kind of stuck, that means we have to work our way up the pyramid. And as you know, which we're going to look at in a second, every day we start out with sector rotation. And the reason for that is in a great market, you find great ideas. In a challenging market, you're in the right ideas. Big difference between the two. And if you're following us every day, you know that we've gone, especially from like one early last week to the end of the week and even coming into this week, the picture has changed dramatically under the hood. You know, we kind of all the time talk about sometimes the indices themselves can be a little bit deceiving because of what's going on under the hood isn't as obvious. But now we actually have the opposite, which is a little bit weird. I'm going to admit it, where the stocks are actually performing better than the indices. And we'll see how that ultimately unfolds. But if you read Investors Business Daily, last week they had said that the uptrend is under pressure in the edition that they put out over the weekend. I don't know. We almost hit new all-time highs yesterday again. So I'm not really sure how that's under pressure. I understand that we closed lower. I understand we're not ripping to the upside, but we're not rolling over yet either. As of right now, we're finding good pockets of opportunity. So what we're going to talk about today, and specifically at the beginning of the call, we're going to talk about solar stocks that are starting to heat up. And that's not a pun. We actually talked about it yesterday. John Bates actually was mentioning it, and we kind of went back and forth that they're slowly creeping up, kind of like getting hidden behind all of the AMC meme stock madness, which of course we're going to take a look at that today. But we're going to start out going into sector rotation, then we're going to go into solar stocks, and we have a bunch of other ideas that we're going to take a look at today. So we will, you know what, let's go right into sector rotation. We'll kick it off with that. Okay, so let me share the screen and I'll show you exactly what I mean. And here's actually what we're talking about. And this picture has cleared up dramatically. So regardless of what the individual market is doing right now, we're able to find some pockets of opportunity. Healthcare has kind of been in the doghouse for the last week or so. Financial and tech, we'd love to see them catch a bid, but they haven't. And here is where we've been focusing. Basic materials have been gapping. Energy stocks peaked up. We have a few energy stocks for you to take a look at today. And then we're going to work our way into the solar stocks. And that's what's really where it gets interesting. But here's the point that I want to get across. And I just can't, I want to come back on the video because it's actually that important. Sometimes it can be challenging to find the right ideas. And if the market is not as obvious, where the whole thing is not going up and just rocketing higher and you know, getting kind of these AMC type moves, which actually is up over 25%, I think, again, overnight. It's very important that when the market's not obvious, you go that little bit of an extra mile. And you know what they say about the extra mile? It's never crowded because nobody's willing to do the work. If you do that little bit of extra work, if you understand and learn what order flow means, if you understand and learn what the optimal entry means, then you're going to be in a lot of really good ideas. And that minimizes your risk. So remember, the quality of the idea is the real risk in the trade. After that, it becomes how do you manage the winning trades? But it first starts out with this stuff that we're talking about every day. So it's kind of important to click that subscribe button because we're giving you the rotation. We're literally starting out every video with here's where the deep pockets, here's where the smart money are buying stocks right now. And that's the most important thing. And then we work our way over, which is another layer to the argument where we go out to first what happened over the last day, the last week, and the last month. And you start to put the pieces together and you're like, oh, wow, smart money's been buying that stock for about a month now. It's time to hop on board. But what's interesting about the solar stocks that we're about to take a look at, it's just starting. And that's really where you start to get some of the better entries, where you start to work the order. The first push, lower share size, and then as it moves in your favor, that's when you start to build that position. So we're actually going to take a look at the solar stocks and pull them up just to give everybody some context. And I want to walk through the stocks that I have in my list right now, JKS, and we're going to be looking at a couple of things. You can clearly see that the stock broke this a little bit longer term downtrend, but that's not really the major part of the story. JKS stock actually rallied, but you're seeing that it's actually pushing and pausing, pushing, probably got a little bit of a pause here, good volume here. BEEM. I'm going to give you the list that I've been watching, and you could jump in there with whatever is your own risk tolerance, because there are different price points here. CSIQ, okay, not as strong as the other ones. FSLR, okay, you can see very clearly it's got to clear the 78 level. And last but not least, the one that's been the sector leader or the industry group leader is CSIQ. It hasn't really rallied that much, but I'm giving you the entire list. And here's actually another reason why. And we talk about this quite often. When you're trading, let's say for argument's sake, now you're going to start focusing on the solar stocks. It could be anything, but we're talking about the solar stocks right now. I just gave you a list of 5. There's a little bit more that you could also add run in there, RUN. It's important, whichever one of those, or maybe 2 of them that you decide to trade, put them all in a watch list together, because you want to know when money's flowing into that as a group. If it's not the whole market, then you want to see where the pockets of opportunity are. And that's what you want to pay attention to now in the solar stocks that you have a list. So I gave you the ones that are breaking out. I gave you the ones that are performing well right now, but have them all in a list together. And that's really where you start to learn to be a professional tape reader, and you elevate yourself past chart reader and you start to become a trader. And this is really where it gets fun, because now you're putting the pieces together. Okay, so we're going to go over and take a look at some other ideas right now as well. Energy stocks, not perfect, but perking up. That's for sure. VLO at the top of the list right now. You can see pretty good price action yesterday. CLR, and again, you put these all in a watch list, and you can start to see smart money, order flow flowing into a sector. Going to work our way over into an earnings play from yesterday, which was Zoom. We actually said Zoom had to get above 340 to have a little bit of excitement for me. Earnings came out, sold off a little bit intraday, picked up quickly. You can see it's up to almost 3%, $9, and it looks like it is going to kiss that 340 level today. So that's going to be in the radar today. Other stock that I want to point out that we called out last week, CRM had great earnings, pulled back perfectly to this downtrend line. Now we're going to be looking for CRM to open lower today, find buyers, and look to initiate a new swing trade in CRM. Obviously, we're going to talk about the meme stock explosion that's going on right now. And you can see over here that AMC is now up 37%, all the way up here at $43. We also have BB, BlackBerry, good volume starting to pop. Maybe if you missed the other one, you can get involved in one of these lower price stocks. And the last one I want to mention is BYND. Not as strong in the list of stocks that have the potential to be squeezed, but it did have massive volume to the upside, is now pulled back for 2 days. This is actually one of my favorite setups to buy, where a strong stock pulls back, closes on the low for 2 days in a row, and then I look for the previous day's support to hold. I want to shift over a little bit into 2 others. Again, sticking with the theme of same stocks, finding some order flow. UAL, obviously an airline stock, and RCL finally breaking out and holding the breakout now for 3 days. 2 other stocks that I want to talk about today. AI getting a really nice push yesterday, and you can see we actually had an energy candlestick. Hopefully you subscribe to the channel and you understand what that means. Now we're just waiting for it to pop above 73. It's got a little bit of work to get there, but you need to set the alarm. 2 other ones that are topping out the list. Tiger finally punched through this $23 level. 24 actually was the level that we were looking for. A little bit lower than that, but I'm still looking at that today. And STEM, which actually had an upgrade by Goldman last week, still holding above. Now, what I really like about this is these bullish gaps paused, and now we're looking for a new move. So if we get over to the market really quick, the market has not changed. You can see that we actually did kiss those levels yesterday, closed near the lows, looks to open lower today. But again, this is the power of understanding sector rotation. This is the power of understanding, finding the smart money, following the order flow. And if the market's obvious, great. If it's not, we'll find other ideas, which takes us over into basic materials, which we've been talking about today. So we're going to focus on Alcoa, which actually now has had multiple bullish gaps in the last 4 days. Looks like it needs to get over 41. Probably going to do that today. Next, we're looking at steel. not as solid, but it is part of the leadership over there. But I think the leadership is right here. And you can see how hard we were working the NUE chart yesterday and Rio. So I'm giving you some ideas of where the smart money is tracking, and you start to watch those footprints. And trading, remember what I said before, trading and the quality of your ideas is the real risk. If you're picking crappy ideas, that's the risk in the trade, because now you're just hoping it moves in your favor. If you pick good ideas where you're piggybacking the smart money, there's still always going to be risk that you have to accept. And there's the possibility of even great ideas not working in your favor. However, great ideas tend to follow through. The smart money tends to be right. So when you learn to understand order flow, when you understand the concept of order flow, and you understand getting in these stocks near the optimal entry, you can suck a lot of that risk out of the idea by having better ideas. And then you learn to manage the downside, and then learn to hold those winners longest, which is really the biggest upside of trading. So that's what we have for today. God, there's going to be some volatility again today, stock specific. So remember what we said. If you have any questions about this, definitely leave a comment below below the video. I'd really love to hear from you. Again, it's market, sectors, industry groups, and then stocks. Then when you throw market internals and volume and price action and then tape reading, that's really where the whole picture comes together and trading starts to become fun again for you. So if you want to learn more about what we do and get involved in our community, click below the link below the video. I think you'll really enjoy being on the other side, where we discuss the entries and exits and all that kind of stuff. So have a great day, everybody. Click down, give us a thumbs up, and definitely subscribe so you get updates. Have an awesome, awesome day, everybody. Appreciate you being here with me.